Good evening, welcome to Slipstream Media. My name's Ben, and I thought I'd make this video immediately after having the thought, so this is a one take, one time only. But the world, I'm just going to be myself here, I'm not worried about professional, but the world is in bloody chaos, isn't it, really? I mean, if we look around, what's going on in every aspect of our lives and the world around us, the geopolitical world, the cultural world, society in general, mental health, physical health, birth rates, everything, climate, everything's just not looking good, is it? I mean, I can relate to bad news, but it seems to be we get a lot more of it than we get optimistic news. Now, on the climate front, I can actually give you very optimistic news. Anyone who thinks that we should stop getting oil is insane and wrong. Like Greta Thunberg, the whole Just Stop Oil thing. The only way we can get to renewable energy is by using lots of oil, of which the biggest reserve is currently underneath the United States, which Donald Trump is going to bring up and Kamala Harris will keep down, and just spend herself into bankruptcy instead. So, but just look at what's happened. We've got Joe Biden and was president. But how long was he active for? We still don't know. How is that we now live in a world where we wake up every day and we go, I wonder who's really running things in the US? That should have only lasted for like 2 days, but they've let it last forever. They have obviously deliberately left it as ambiguous. But I question, what would happen if something that needs presidential power happens now? Because unfortunately, every expert agrees, we are on the brink of a new world order or World War III. Something big is coming. It's going to smash us economically and it's going to smash us geopolitically. All the signs are there, and these are signs born out of science from the First, Second World Wars. Every aspect of what was in place at the beginning of the First World War is currently in place in this world. And we have new Marxist and socialist ideas coming out left, right and centre. And there's never been a communist country that hasn't been a murderer of its own citizens. So I don't see that any kind of socialism, Marxism can have any place in free democratic society at all. You can use it as a thinking point, but nothing more than that. Karl Marx didn't have to earn any money. He got paid a little bit for his writing, but he never actually got paid initially. He had a wealthy upbringing, so he didn't have to earn any money. Really easy to have a utopian view of the world, isn't it, if money isn't involved? Which is, if you look at Kamala Harris's economic plans, they work perfectly if money wasn't a thing. But because money is a thing, not just to us, but to the world, and supplies need to trade hands between each country, you can't live off it. Money is a thing. Your 35 trillion debt is a real number of amount of money that you owe to countries, that unless you want severely to destroy your own, you have to pay back. Kamala Harris's thing would work perfectly if everything was free, but because everything's not free, they mean over an 80% across the board tax rate in the end, and that would pay for all her insanities, which are insanities, and it'd be a complete waste and a complete culture shock to everybody. The US going communist. What the fuck's going on? Go on. It's ridiculous. And one thing I will say about her, she has, and I believe his name's Jason Cooper, but I think there's one more guy as well, but definitely one, and I think it's Jason Cooper or Jake Cooper. She put him on death row for murder and then tried to stall evidence, DNA evidence that would exonerate him for her own political and the image of her success. And she only gave it up when she was forced to by legal subpoena. That means she was willing to let an innocent man sit on death row for her own ambition. That is a disqualifier, not just to be a president, but to be a real human. I think you should be prosecuted for that, and you should serve that time that you made that man serve. He didn't serve a hell of a long time after his DNA evidence, but she made sure that it was delayed as much as it possibly could be until the last minute when they made her do it. She wasn't prepared to do it if they didn't make her. She wasn't going to do it. He would have rotted and died for murder he didn't commit, and she would have known about it, and she would have gone on with her career. That is a disqualifier for me. Equally, Tim Walz's new law making not gender affirming care, as in not agreeing that your 10-year-old needs a sex change immediately because they've just read it in a magazine or in a book at school, is now called abuse in Tim Walz's state in Minnesota. He wants to make it a sanctuary state for prepubescent young children to be basically groomed online, then get a train up to Minnesota. That could even be funded by a NGO or some kind of some sort of gender clinic or some mixture of a group, a collective. It can be the minute they are at the train station in Minnesota, any adult of appropriate age, 18, can take custody of that child and take them to go to court to get custody under the guise they're being abused because their parents don't affirm their gender desires. The court will then take custody. They can even do it across some federal lines, and they will take custody from the parents without them knowing, perform all of the procedures, and if the parents try to sue or try to get involved, they get rejected. Parents have no say. It completely takes away all parental rights. Tim Walz made that law, and he's running for vice president. So, honestly, you've got Elon Musk, Donald Trump, Tulsi Gabbard, and Robert Kennedy and J.D. Vance ready to make real substantive change to the government in the US, which is the only thing that can stem the madness of wokeism, mass immigration, and consistent, absolute, well, I suppose you'd call them threats, outright threats from our adversaries openly towards us because they don't fear us because we don't have a fearable leader, and they bloody well know it. So those are two things that should disqualify Kamala Harris and Tim Walz in the mind of anyone I would consider to be a sane, humane human being. If you are humane, if you believe in human rights, these two do not. So, vote with your wallets, vote with your heads. And if you're going to vote with your hearts, do not fall for this campaign of joy, because the last person to use that phrase was the first name of Adolf. And he ran a very, very good campaign. The comparisons end there for now. But he did run an absolute masterclass of a campaign based on joy. That's where she got the idea. And Dick Cheney, the main warmonger, the man who's profited illicitly most from all foreign wars, is endorsing her. So she's got what they used to call Dark Vader endorsing her. And he's made many millions off military contractors and wars. A lot about Dick Cheney that could be written. Anyway, I'll leave it there. But think about all this. We are in a state now, and everyone in America needs to vote with their heads and their wallets and not get conned in to all of this debunked stories about Donald Trump. None of them are true. Look into them and see how they've been debunked. Every Project 25, Charlottesville, everything like that, completely debunked. Kamala Harris knows it's all completely debunked. The whole Democrat, all the system, the mainstream media know it's all debunked. They keep saying it. So vote with your heads and just vote for change and vote for Trump, please. And please, if you like this, do subscribe, like, share, any YouTubey stuff. It's all good for me. Doesn't cost you anything. It's a nice gesture. You be lucky. I'll be good. I'll see you soon.